I bow to all the seekers of truth. At the very outset, you have to know that truth is what it is. We cannot change it, we cannot transform it, and we cannot conceptualize it. Also, unfortunately, at this human awareness, we cannot feel the truth. So something has to be done, something has to work out in our human awareness, in the evolutionary process. We have become human beings from amoeba. How did we become? And if we are human beings, have we reached the absolute state? We have not. If we had reached the absolute state, then there would have been no problems. Because everybody would have seen the same thing, would have understood the same thing, and felt the same thing. But because we are living in a relative world, we have all these problems. As it is, most of the problems are created by human beings. If you see ecological problems, if you see economic problems, political problems, physical problems, mental problems, family problems, all of them are related to human beings. So we have gone wrong somewhere. There's something that's a missing point which we have not realized. The advancements we have made in our civilization, say in science, has reached such a stage that we had to create an atom bomb, hydrogen bomb. So all these mental efforts we have put in also boomerang on us and create our destruction. In every way, we get frustrated and we start seeking, what's the matter? Then we turn to religion and we find in religion also, it's just words, words and words. Whatever is written in the Bible, same about written in Quran if you read it, or Dhammapad or Gita, everywhere is about just the same. There's not much of a change. But still, you may follow any religion, so-called following I would say, still, a human being belonging to any religion can commit any sin. Any sin. There's no binding force on him of that religion. Why is it all these great religions which were created by great incarnations and great prophets have taken such a deviated path, and why we have not been able to achieve whatever they have promised to us? What is the reason why we could not achieve that? What has gone wrong? If you read Quran, you'll be amazed. The description of what was the vision of Muhammad Sahib is far away from the Muslims as they are. Same about Christians we can say. When Christ has said, thou shalt not have adulterous eyes, difficult to find Christians who don't have. In this way, we have to realize on one side whatever mental efforts we are putting, or on the other side, whatever physical or emotional efforts we have put in have come back to us, destroying us. We can see the result very clearly. Why all these problems are there. Still we adhere to something which is not reality. We go on clinging to it because perhaps we are born like that, perhaps we think that that's we have done now all our lives, so why give up? And the forefathers have done the same, you are doing the same. But now a new category of very honest people are there in this world who are seeking beyond. William Blake has called them men of God. Those who will seek the truth, and they will make other people also godly. That's the time has come, this resurrection time has come, we should say, or this is the last judgment. This last judgment is going to be done by this Kundalini, the power within you. This is your own power, which has to be awakened. And once it is awakened, it passes through these centers as told to you and lets you know that these are your problems. These are the problems of your chakras. They may be physical, they may be emotional, could be also spiritual. And once you know these problems, and if you know how to solve these problems, you can be a very normal, sensible, balanced personality. That's not the only thing that happens when you get your self-realization. Firstly, what happens to you is that when the Kundalini passes through your Agya Chakra, then you become thoughtlessly aware. If you see all the sciences they have created after religion, about religion, the talks and the whole thing is just mental. It's not inside, it's not innate, built within. So one thought rises, another thought falls, another thought rises and falls down. Some come from the future, some come from the past. And we are jumping on the cusp of these thoughts. But if you say, now, this is the present, stop your mind at this stop point, which is the present. You can't. You just can't do it. Between these thoughts, there is a gap. This gap is the present, but it's so small that you cannot find it. But when the Kundalini passes through this center, then these two institutions, as you see them, the conditioning and the ego, are just sucked in. As a result, you become thoughtlessly aware. Means there is no thought, but you are absolutely aware, very much more aware. For example, if you look at this beautiful hall without thoughtless awareness, with the thoughtless awareness, then the whole picture becomes like a photo in your mind. Whole thing is stored up into every detail so clearly. Because present is the truth. Past is finished and future doesn't exist. So to come to the present, you have to have this new awareness called as thoughtless awareness. But when she crosses over and pierces through your fontanelle bone area, which is the actualization of your baptism. Just people talk of baptism, come along, I'll baptize you. It's not possible that way. It's just an artificial ritual. Try to understand. This is not going to render that actual happening within you, which is going to make you grow spiritually. So the actualization of baptism takes place, and you can feel also from your fontanelle bone area a kind of a cool breeze of the Holy Ghost coming in. You feel extremely relaxed. Secondly, that you jump into another higher awareness, which we call as collective consciousness. This means that not only that you can feel your own centers on your fingertips, because these cool vibrations, you can call them, start flowing through your own hands. You can feel them. But also you get the information about others as well as about yourself on these fingertips. Automatically, you become like a person who is a computer. It starts working in such a wonderful manner that you can find out about any disease, any trouble, without going through all the diagnosis or anything. And if you know how to cure these troubles physically, mentally, you can definitely cure yourself and also others if you have reached that state and have permanently achieved it. This is what has to happen to us. All of us have to achieve that state, which is your right to achieve it. Sahaja means with you is born. This yoga means the union with this all-pervading power of God's love. It exists or not, we have never bothered to find out. We see these beautiful flowers, very beautiful flowers and everything around. When I came from Sydney, I saw the beauty the nature had just spread for the pleasure of human beings. We never even think how it has happened. What has worked it out, all these living things? We don't even think how this eye of ours is such a beautiful camera, how it has been made, how is it, this brain, which is such a great computer, how is it made? Who has made it? They may say it is autonomous, but who is this auto? We have never tried to find out that there is this all-pervading power of God's love, which has done all this living work. And now for us it is to feel that that is the yoga, is the union with that divine. It's not physical, it's not mental, but it is spiritual, where you start first time feeling this all-pervading power. Then only you have to know how to use this power which flows through you. But it moves very slowly. And people, you see, this is not a plastic work that you can go on producing many, and we don't have any organization as such. We do not organize people, and we do not take any money at all. You cannot. Because how much can you pay for this divine work? How much do we pay to Mother Earth? For she gives us all these beautiful flowers. She doesn't understand money. So you cannot pay for it. But there are many, many organizations afloat which are taking money, which are giving you mental feed, and people run after them. They like to go on working out that yarn that they have spun for you. One has to go beyond this mind to feel the spirituality. With this mind, that is human mind, you cannot understand. You have to have divine mind. But once you get your realization, your mind also gets enlightened. And when your mind is enlightened, you can perceive, penetrate into every situation in such a deeper manner, and the way you can improve it, I can tell you a simple analogy to understand it. Supposing you are standing in the sea, and the sea is rough, you are afraid of the waves, very much afraid. But supposing somebody puts you on the boat, and then you can see those waves and enjoy them. But supposing you learn how to swim, then you can jump in and save them. It is not any brainwashing or any sort of a bombardment of words, but it is something that happens to you. You become something as you have become human being. You become realized soul as a result of this last breakthrough of your evolution. This is happening everywhere, no doubt, and it's working out very well in, I think they told me 62 countries, but at least I know of definitely of 52 countries where there we have got very strong centers where it is working out. Now whatever we are telling you here, you need not accept blindfolded. Blind faith is of no use. First of all, you must experience. Just like a hypothesis, I am putting this before you. But you should have an open mind of a scientist. Just open your mind and see for yourself it works. If it works, then you have to accept. If you are honest, you have to accept. If it doesn't work, if it works with many, why not try and work it out? Most of the people do get their realization. I have seen it. It's a wonderful thing that is happening, that masses of people can get realization. Depends on also certain places, like Russia, I was amazed, where they have not heard the name of God, they have never heard the name of Christ, they were not allowed to read Bible or any book, they had no religion at all. They believed in no religion. Where thousands and thousands come to my program and they all get their realization. In a small place called Taliati, there are 22,000 Sahaja-yogis practicing Sahaja-yoga. Can you imagine? I was so amazed. Same about Bulgaria, Romania, Hungary, Poland. I was amazed how these people, Czechoslovakia, how they have taken to Sahaja-yoga so fast, just like fish to water. How they realized it. And nobody else, all these false people could not go there, nothing could work out. Only thing that has really worked out there is something that is genuine, that is Sahaja-yoga. One has to realize that as we are not in the absolute state, we have to reach to the absolute state. That desire should be there. If that desire is there, it works out without any difficulty. It is your own power which manifests, and gradually you can manifest them in such a way that you can do so many things like giving realization to others, curing others, and also enjoying it. Because when the attention is filled with the light of the Spirit, it fills you up with complete joy. And joy has not two sides like happiness and unhappiness. It's singular, it's absolute. And you are, then they say, they are swimming in the ocean of joy. So beautiful it is. This new race, we can call it, the new society, is already formed. It's there. They are angel-like people, beautiful. I never tell them, don't drink, don't smoke, don't take drugs, nothing of the kind. I don't tell them. It just automatically drops out. Because in the light, they see the ignorance that they had, they see the darkness, and they just drop out. We don't have to tell them anything, not to brainwash them or anything. It just works automatically. You don't have to follow any kind of a fundamental truths or things, nothing of the kind. You just know this is fundamental because you have got the light within you. Then they see the goodness, then they see the oneness of all the religions. So if you know the oneness of all religions, why will you be fundamentalist? If you belong to one organization or to another church or to another religion, then you fight. When you get into compartments like this, then only you fight. Everybody thinks we are the chosen ones. That's how we have this fundamentalism now knocking at our doors. So to get rid of it, the best thing is, first of all, you have to become an universal being. And this spirit is the universal being. Once you become the universal being, then you'll be surprised to see that all these differences you saw because of complete ignorance. For example, there is light, you can see each other here. But supposing there's complete pitch darkness, you don't know who is sitting here, who is right, who is left. You don't know how to walk. You may trample over people, you may just get frightened, you may run helter-skelter. But if there is light, you see things so clearly. In the same way, Sahaja-yoga works. First, some people get not all the light, I should say, but they do get a little light, the glimmer of light, and then it starts expanding. And when it expands, you'll be amazed how things work out. Also, I've seen people after coming to Sahaja Yoga, they become extremely intelligent, absorbent, and a kind of a very dynamic personality comes in them. Now you have seen these Australians singing Sanskrit song. I mean, imagine, Sanskrit, even these English lived in India for 300 years. They couldn't learn one sentence of Hindi language, leave alone Sanskrit. But the way they sing with such clarity, even the Indians are surprised at how they are singing our songs in Sanskrit language. It's an impossibility. We cannot think of a Western person singing like this, with all the rhythm and the melody and all that. And in no time they pick up. There are artists and artists who have now got world fame in India after coming to Sahaja Yoga. We have got here also some artists who were painters, have got a good name for themselves. Everything changes. You become on top of the world, but you don't become competitive. You start enjoying each other. Such a brotherhood, such love, such friendship, that you become one drop becoming an ocean, macrocosm becoming the macrocosm. We talk of all these things, but we have never achieved it. Now the time has come for us to achieve all this. In this one lecture, I know I can't talk much. Last year also I was here, and Lord Mayor was here also to grace the occasion. I found him to be a remarkable person, the way he got his realization. You are especially blessed people, I think, Newcastle, with this beautiful lake here and beautiful surroundings. And I hope that Sahaja Yoga will work out here very well. Gradually it will take its roots and you can have a real good center in Newcastle. May God bless you all.